One, two. 1, 2, 3. Release them. I wish that Evan had a phone to call you up. Hey everyone, Dylan here. Welcome back to episode 5 of your favorite podcast, the Don't Cry Over Spilled Tea podcast. All right. So last episode was pretty short. It was pretty quick, done, ran through, on to the next one. Because I don't know if you guys can tell by the eye makeup, but filming 2 of them in the same day because I've just been a really lazy bitch and I did not do the last one. So doing 2 episodes at once so I can be back on track for this week and then back behind again because I'm going on a trip to Dallas this week. So we'll just figure it out. We'll get it done. But on to the episode 5. How are we liking the outfit? How are we liking the hair? Glam is the same, but how are we liking the glam, guys? With all that being said, you're probably going to hear, because I can't put my hands down to save my life, you're probably going to hear me whenever I'm moving around because these are a little bit loud, but bear with it, guys. But yeah, now that we still have this elephant in the room because, like I said, filming 2 back to back, so it's going to be fixed by the next one, promise. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into our episode with our first segment. Let's go ahead and add some heat, guys. So, one thing that I had just seen today, which I think is really, really crazy, the record labels of some of our favorite artists are starting to put pressure onto some of the streaming sites that you and I all use to play our music, such as Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music, all those sorts. They're starting to really put pressure on these apps to raise their subscription services in order to pay their artists a higher wage because the subscriptions aren't reflecting what is going on with inflation and everything like that. And girl, the checks coming through are not that good. They're not that good. But so honestly, I hope if they were to do something like that, they're going to put some type of tier system. But even at that, I pay to not hear ads, so I better not hear a fucking ad. I'll say that much right now. But I really hope they kind of put in some type of tier situation so that maybe you hear an ad every 20, or you hear an ad every like 20, 30 minutes. You hear an ad maybe after 6, 7 plays, but I better not be just strung out on ads. And that's something that we're going to get into later on with My Kettle Whistles. But yeah, just saw that they're going to start, maybe they're going to start raising prices on stuff. So girl, you might want to check your pocketbook because it's these little monthly subscriptions are going to start adding up, girls. Next thing I want to talk about, kind of a sad thing. I honestly should have put it in. Let's add some ice. Pretty sad. But one of our favorite cooks, the one that literally put us on to the world famous mac and cheese, Miss Teeny, unfortunately just had a miscarry. And this came literally, I want to say it was like a day or 2 before Thanksgiving. She had posted a photo on TikTok, and it was just a black and white photo. And the caption had said something along the lines of like, baby I was carrying on, obviously, or not obviously, but unfortunately did not make it. Something really, really sad. And I think that it's an even sadder situation to see that it had to have happened right before pretty much her holiday. Just something really crappy because I know that people probably were tagging her, stitching her, commenting on her stuff, talking about their Thanksgiving meals for this year. And obviously that's not something that a grieving mother would want to see, you know? But prayers out to her. I hope she's doing better. But yeah, on to our next thing. I just don't want to take too much time on that one because it is a sad situation and I would hate to say the wrong thing too. But next thing I want to talk about is Britney Spears was seen hanging out with the Kardashians a couple of days ago. They had a sleepover at, I want to say, Kim's house. And Britney had posted a couple of videos being in Kim's bed. I guess her bed like shakes or some shit like that. Hung out. She was hanging out with North and Dream and everyone like that. But I had seen that. I was like, oh, that's so wholesome. Like, how cute of them to be hanging out with each other. But of course, somebody always has to come around and fucking ruin it. I don't really want to say ruin because I mean it's a conspiracy at this point. It could be ruining, it could be truthful. Who knows? But they had said that Brittany was hanging out with them and that apparently the Kardashian, Kim in specific, might be silencing Brittany in regards to this new project that she's coming out with, an organization that she's coming out with. I don't know really what she's calling it, but so Britney Spears is a member of this project called the Rose Project, and essentially what it is to make sure that children are safe, child stars, whether it be an actor, whether it be a singer, a dancer, so on and so forth, are protected whenever it comes to overworking, being underpaid, being taken advantage of, both sexually and not getting paid correctly. But yeah, apparently like she's an up there member whenever it comes to this project, and apparently the Kardashians are silencing her, which, like I said, it's a conspiracy at this point, but I really don't see why the Kardashians would be trying to silence her on something like that, considering none of their children do anything. None of their children do anything. North just makes fucking videos. Dream and all of them, they're way too young. Shy, Saint, they're all way too young. Stormy doesn't do shit either. So I'm like, I don't know if I really believe that one just yet, because there's not too much information. Not because I'm like a ride or die on the Kardashians or anything like that. There's just not enough information for me to want to sit here and like form an opinion on it until there's more evidence out there, you know? But yeah, that was that one about Britney. I really hope that they're just hanging out with her and they're being friends, because honestly that would be such a cute little relationship. And it gives Britney kind of a sense of normalcy whenever it comes to I guess being back in the outside world, because you know her conservatorship is about to be up, if not already up. So it's a good transition into like the normal world. But other than that, next thing, just like I said, Thanksgiving just happened. So what's right after Thanksgiving? Black Friday. Guys, I know you all probably feel the exact same way as I do. And honestly, I feel like it's been since about COVID time that these Black Friday deals just have not been doing it for us. They have not been doing it for us. The most that I had seen was on Fashion Nova. They were doing like 50 to 90% off, which is good. It is good, guys. Fashion Nova does that shit every other Saturday. Fashion Nova does that every other Saturday. So what is the difference now? I want you to tell me to DM you a photo of me throwing ass and you give me $200 off. I want that. How about I send you my most recent sex tape and you give me a year's worth of clothes? How about that? How about that? I did not see a single sale that was worth clicking into. Everyone was doing like 30% off. Some people were literally doing like buy 3 sweaters and get the 4th one free. For what? For what? Honestly, guys, Black Friday is honestly such a scam now. We'll see how Cyber Monday looks, but honestly, considering how Black Friday has looked these past few years and Cyber Monday follows and looks the exact same way, I'm not looking forward to it. I'm not looking forward to it. I even was like, "Oh, let me like buy some makeup. Let me get something good with makeup." Guys, it was like, I want to say it was like 10 to 30% off of everything that I had seen. 10 to 30% off everything whenever it comes to makeup. But the only people that were really doing sales are the people who already have expensive ass makeup. Huda Beauty was doing it. Obviously, everybody hopped on that one as quick as they saw the deal. So I literally wanted to get a foundation, couldn't buy it, sold out. Wanted to buy some of the setting powders, all the full size ones were sold out already. Only the fucking travels. I'm not gonna use the travel size. This is a big old face, baby. Big old face. This is a lot of acreage right here. I can't use the fucking mini. I need a full size or a jumbo size. But honestly, guys, I hope none of you guys partook in those sales, because you could have gotten that on a Labor Day sale. You could have got that on a New Year's Eve sale. It's the same percentage off that they always use. So you got no better deal than you would have gotten on a random Wednesday afternoon. I'm being so serious. But other than that, hope your tea is pretty hot today. I'm not going to be adding any sugar to mine today. We're going to keep this tea pretty bitter. So let's go ahead and jump into our next segment. Let's go ahead and add some ice. Tea's a little hot. It's going to be bitter, but let's go ahead and cool it down. So first thing that I want to talk about, guys, I am so hot whenever I say this to you, but My favorite actor, and not because he's amazing at acting or anything like that, he's just fucking hot, guys. He's just fucking hot. Mitchell Marone, or Michelle Marone, however you say it, is going to be in an up and coming movie. I want to say that it was called like The Housemaid or something like that. But I had seen a TikTok about it, just talking about that he was going to be in a new movie. So I was like, oh my God, gotta go and look at my man in this preview. So I looked in the preview. Apparently, Sydney Sweeney's in it. Next, don't care. Don't care. Sydney Sweeney's in it, apparently. But I think it's supposed to be like a thriller type of movie. It's supposed to be kind of like scary. I don't know. From what the preview was, it really didn't show a lot of what Mitchell was. I think Sydney's kind of the main star of it. Boring. But from what I had seen, he was kind of giving like a ominous, kind of like creepy. I think he might have been like a gardener or something like that. But from what he gave, it gives you a little bit of anxiety. You kind of think that he might be the bad guy. So we'll see. We'll see, guys. Next thing that I want to talk about, there have been so many recaps on my For You page recently of Brie Olsen and Vale getting in fights over TikTok Live. And I had seen it with Brie talking crap about Vale with that one guy named Michon, I think. I think his name is Michon. And the one with fat lips just like me. I think his name is Michon. But I had seen them kind of talking crap about Vale on there, and it was a lot of nasty stuff, which I don't pay attention to Vale that much really. I barely see anything about Brie that much either, but I see a little bit more about Brie than I do with Vale. But apparently, or not apparently, what I had seen was that Michon and Brie were on live together, and Michon had brought over Vale, and it was just WrestleMania right then and there. So they had just started fighting with one another, and honestly, the same things that I heard from, or the things that I had heard from Brie's mouth are the same things that I've heard from her countless and countless of times whenever it comes to Vale, and a lot of it seems like projection, because she was sitting there and saying that Vale hasn't seen her children and she's not taking care of her kids. Brie don't either, because in the next clip that I had seen, Brie was out and about partying, and she had even gotten like one of those the signs that the bottle girls bring over, and it was like kids with the nanny, moms are out, or something like that, some shit like that. But I'm like, baby, the call is coming from inside the house, and the pot's calling the kettle black. So I don't understand that little diss right there, because you're deadbeat mom too. You didn't hear from me. Deadbeat mom too. But yeah, I had talked about that. Apparently, Vale doesn't have like some sort of living situation that Brie has. So Vale had thrown in her face like, oh, you're about to get evicted from your apartment, da da da. So Brie was like, I'm not getting evicted from my apartment, bitch, I'm buying a house. So I was like, oh, good for you. Being a whore pays off. Not for me yet though. So kind of jealous. But apparently Bree's getting a house. There was some kind of custody stuff going on after that, because baby, one thing about it is Brie Olsen might be quick to do shit. 2K is quicker to get that bitch in check and get her in trouble. So I think 2K might have called Child Protective Services or something like that, got Brie in trouble. The baby's going back with 2K again. But girls, let me know if y'all had seen that. If y'all haven't seen that yet, tune in, because their tea is honestly kind of interesting. I loved it. But next thing I want to talk about is Miss Portia Williams from Real Housewives of Atlanta is in a new relationship, and you'd be surprised who it's with. So we met Portia whenever she was married to Cordell, famous football player. Then I think she dated a couple boys. Oh, and you know how I was telling you guys that I've been binging Real Housewives of Atlanta. Finally on season 9, I want to say. Honestly, really sad because Nene's gone. And me and Good Judy were talking about it. He said that you're really going to miss Nene, but at least Sheree's back. Girl, Sheree don't give me life. Sheree does not give me life. Sheree gives me a couple of giggles here and there. Sheree does not give me life like Lanithia Leaks does. I need Lanithia Leaks on my screen. I need her now. And I cannot do her as a friend of a friend, even though, guys, I feel like Nene's confessionals in season 8 were the best that they have ever been while she was a friend of. I feel like they were the best that they have ever been, guys. They were so good. And season 8 without her, not only was it boring without her, but guys, the cast really just was not doing it for me. I did not care about Kim Fields. I feel like I had told you guys, and I want to say episode 1, episode 2, didn't care for Kim Fields in the same way that I felt about Deshawn. And while Kim Fields kind of has a little bit more of an opportunity to do shit like that, I feel like she was just very out of touch with the women. I feel like she thought of herself maybe as above them, which I mean, she has a track record. She has a track record. She's a fucking famous actress. And I mean, while Candy does her music, while she's a songwriter, everything like that, a good songwriter, while Kenya, Miss USA, while she was in a couple of music videos, while she even directed some stuff in some movies, Kim Fields is a legend. She's a legend. So for me to kind of say that she was out of touch with reality, baby, she doesn't know reality anymore. She's famous. She is famous. She is what those Real Housewives think that they are. She's famous. But I don't know. I just didn't care for her personality that much. I thought she was a little bit boring. And I definitely thought that what was it called? The Beatless Brunch. I genuinely thought that was a diss. And I did not like that, because what do you mean you are, to me, don't shoot the messenger, guys. To me, intimidated by these women because they can get up in hair and makeup, they can throw on an outfit just to go to lunch. You don't like that, and so you almost want to see them in a vulnerable state when they're not looking their best. And like Kenya, I think it was Kenya or Portia, I think it was Kenya that said it. Girl, you want us to go to a beatless brunch, take that wig off. Take that wig off, because that's the only thing that she has going for her. Not the only thing that she has going for her, but that's her personality. That's her personality, is her hair. While the girls, this is the girls, and this is just secondary to them. I mean, we've seen Cynthia Bailey go through about 14 different wig changes since she's been on that show. So this is secondary to them. It's this and this that these women care about. They could care less about what's on their fucking head. Look at how it took Nene. I'm on season 9. It took Nene 9 years to finally put some fucking blonde hair in her head. Nene's hair from 1 to 4, ridiculous. The way that this woman ran around and toted her, I'm rich, bitch. I'm very rich, bitch. But she couldn't have some type of sew-in. She couldn't have had any box braids going on in her hair. But she was very rich, bitch. I love Lanithia Leaks, y'all. I love her. And I know that if she were to see this, she would giggle a little bit. So don't shoot me on this one. But yeah, back to what I was saying. I didn't care for Sheree being back that much. I miss Nene. And me being on season 9, Nene is still not on there, and I'm honestly going to skip this season just so I can get back to her. And I don't know if I'm going to miss a lot of stuff. I'm going to have to talk to Good Judy about that later on. But I want to skip this season so bad so I can get Nene back on my screen. I'm over not seeing her. I miss her too bad. But back to the topic that we need to be talking about. Portia in her new relationship with a woman. Y'all. So, like I said, Cordell, I think she had a couple of boyfriends in the middle of that. Then she was with her African man. Just got divorced a couple of months, not a couple of months ago, but like a year ago or so. And I think there's one more that I'm forgetting about. But now she's with her woman. And I really was just seeing a bunch of headlines about her being with a woman, but I wasn't seeing anything about who this woman was. I don't give a fuck if she is with a trans woman, trans man, lesbian, or a man. I don't give a fuck. Because one thing you need to know about Portia is she's wherever the fuck the money is. So I wasn't seeing any information about who her girlfriend was. So I had a deep dive and I had to see who she was. So apparently she's a salon owner. I think she has a couple of other things under her belt, but very, very successful woman. And like I just said, Portia is wherever the money is. So whether it's plastic or flesh, Portia's going to do whatever she can do to get a check. And I respect it, baby. I respect it. But other than that, hope we put enough ice in our tea. Hopefully it's drinkable now. We're going to go ahead and put that in our mugs. And we're going to get ready for episode 5 story time, which is going to be my relationship that I had with a bodybuilder. Get ready. All right, guys. So I'm going to have to keep this very vague. Not really to respect the man at hand. I really don't give a fuck about him. Um, but more so to kind of keep myself out of danger. Baby, I don't give a fuck about these men. I care about myself. But so to go ahead and start this off, close your eyes, open your mind. Let's paint the picture. So I want to say that I was talking to this man around 2023, so a couple of years ago. Um, I one day had gotten really tired of that little yellow app that us girls use, and so I was like, let me go over to Tinder. So I had went over to Tinder and was swiping left and right, and I was seeing the same homos that I was seeing on the other app. So I was like, girl, what a waste of time. So I was telling one of my former friends about this situation, and he had told me, oh well, why don't you switch it over to women? I fit the bill, right? Don't I fit the bill? So I was like, okay, girl, do it. So he had told me that he had did this with one of his girlfriends one time, to go and look at what the other pieces of trade was going on in the other subcategories. So he switched me over to women, and so there I go browsing. I had seen a couple people that I went to school with, seen a couple of people that I was friends with. Ooh, I hope they didn't see me back. But swiping left, swiping right, swiping left, swiping right. And will I get to this one man that's on there, and he was attractive to say. Okay, one thing need to know about me, guys. I like men who look stupid. I like men who look very dumb in the face. And whenever I say dumb in the face, I want them to look like our ancestors from 6 million years ago. I love men that look like fucking cavemen. I don't want them to know how to read. I don't want them to know how to write. I don't want them to know how to speak. I just want them to know how to fuck. That's all I need. That's all I need. So when I tell you guys, there are categories to the men that I like. And so there's there's ugly, there's all right, just not my type. There's cute, just not my type. And then we get into my type. And so there's ugly, but I'll give him a chance. And then I'll skip this one just because this is the category that he was in. Then there's fine, and then there's really fucking hot, which is Mitchell Marone from Let's Add Some Heat. So the subcategory that he fell in, which is what a lot of men fall in for me, is the fuckable category. So you might not be super hot, you might not be ugly, but there's some things that need to get worked on around here. So we don't put you at a high standard. We just say you're fuckable. So he was fuckable, but because of the attributes that he had. So he was Mexican. Love that. Love that. I always said I'm either gonna marry a Mexican or an Arab man. And I'll fuck around with any race, honestly. I'll fuck around with any. I'm a whore. We're in episode 5. If you guys didn't know that by now, hey, I'm a whore. But I'll fuck anything. Don't care. But what I aspire to end up with at the finish line is either a Mexican man like myself or a Middle Eastern man. They're just so delicious. And I feel like Mexican men and Middle Eastern men honestly kind of look a little bit alike. And even like Michelle Marone, I feel like Sicilian men kind of fit that bill. I just like somebody who has bold features, dark hair, and is tan. I just like that. That's my thing. That's my thing. And a fat nose. And a big fat nose. That's what I like, guys. But so this man, he was tall. He had to have been about like 6'4", 6'5". He was something along those lines. 6'4", 6'5". Super, super, super buff. And he was kind of like Westerny vibes, which I mean, that's not like a check mark for me, but I was like, oh, okay, he does it well. So he knows how to dress. That was good for me. But yeah, so I was like, oh, okay. Swipe left. Oh, let me do it this way. Swipe left. So I had swiped left on him, and honestly, after that, I really didn't pay no mind to it. I wasn't like, oh, I hope that he swipes left on me back. It was just kind of like, oh, he's hot. If it happens, it happens. So I want to say maybe like a day goes by, and I don't have the notifications on for Tinder. Didn't have the notifications on for Tinder. But so I had ended up getting back on so I could just go browse and peruse. And I had seen that I had like a few notifications in my message box. And so one cute guy here, one cute guy there, and then the occasional ones that you don't text them in 15 seconds so they fucking unadd you. Whatever. But at the top of it was the man that this story time is about. And he had matched with me. And then after he had matched with me, he just sent me like the waving emoji. So I was like, oh, okay, like maybe he's interested. So I had ended up texting him just like, hey. And then I want to say that he was just like, what's up? And I was like, chilling, baby, wanting some dick. That's what's up. But I want to say we just were kind of like going back and forth after that. And one thing about me is I'm not going to get myself caught up in any type of sticky situation. So just like I told you, old friend had put me as a woman, and I was pretty much on the, how do you say it, on the list for straight men. So I was like, I'm really not supposed to be here, guys. I'm in foreign territory right now. So I was like, I really don't need to be here. So let me make sure that I let this boy know what I am and what's in here, even though it's not a lot, so that he doesn't get, I guess, fooled. So going back and forth, and he ends up telling me I'm cute, whatever. So I tell him like, hey, just so you know, like, I don't know if you knew or not, but I'm a boy. And then he was just like, oh, okay, yeah, I kind of knew. Clock me, damn. I didn't know I was that fucking clockable, even though I was bald back then. But clocked me, shit, I did my makeup good enough, but not good enough for that eye. So he was like, yeah, it's okay, I knew. All right. At least we got that elephant out of the room, guys, right? So, so I live in the city that I live in. There are quite a few small cities here and there. Almost, honestly, think about Dallas, Fort Worth. There's Midland, Odessa, which I live in one of. And then there's all of our little sub-cities that are around. And then there's our tiny cities in and out. So he lived in one of the smaller cities outside of Odessa. And so he had told me like, hey, just a heads up, I don't live in Odessa. I live here. Like, if you were to ever want to meet up, like, I can go there, or like you can come over here. Mama don't got a house of her own. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna go over there, y'all. So I end up driving XYZ amount of minutes to go and finally meet him. And so I get there, we say our hellos, whatever. Guys, I am a tall bitch. I already talked about this in a couple episodes. I'm a tall bitch. So it's so weird to be around individuals that are taller than me. It's just like such a shell shock because I'm always taller than everyone that I'm around. Just around a bunch of brown girls. They're all fucking short. So it's different whenever I'm the short one in comparison to somebody else. And so I get to him, or I go over to his place and walk up to him, tall. I'm literally like this, y'all. I felt butterflies in my stomach. So we end up just talking, and I want to say it was around summertime. Girl, it was hot as fuck in his house. And mind you, I don't want to give away too much information, but it wasn't his home per se that we were in. It was like him and his family owned like rental properties. So we were in one of the rental properties that had yet to be sold. And well, I mean, nobody's living in there. Why put the AC on? So girl, it was fucking hot in there. So I told him straight away, I was like, oh no, you need to cut that fan on because mama's gonna sweat. And so went ahead and did that. I think we just kind of like talked a little bit longer, and then we got to the deed. So, oh my gosh, guys. So 6'4", 6'5", buff as hell, Forgot to tell you guys that he was a bodybuilder. And that's where everything went wrong. So he was a bodybuilder. You know how bodybuilders will sit there and they'll take their roids, they'll take their shots, they'll take their pills. And you know what I mean. And you know what I mean. Though they don't go together. They don't go together. You can't do a lot of work when you're trying to put a you really got to know what you're doing whenever you're trying to put a Vienna sausage in a 12-inch sub bread. You got to know what you're doing. You got to know. Well, he kind of knew what he was doing, y'all. So initially, very disappointed, very upset. I was like, oh, I drove XYZ amount of minutes to come meet this motherfucker. And this is what I get. So, starts out kissing. Then, y'all, I'm going to keep doing these little cuts because I'm remembering everything in real time. Y'all, I'm a big bitch. If you can't see, if you're just listening, I'm going to let you know I'm a big bitch. Said it in a couple episodes already. I'm not a small lady. Just like episode 1, I talked about Ozempic not taking off them 150 pounds yet. I'm still a large woman. I like to eat. So, when I tell you guys we're making out and I was on top of him, well, this man picks me up and throws me on my back on the couch that we're on. And I'm just like, in utter shock and disbelief, because what do you mean you just picked me up? What do you mean you just moved a bus? I was shocked. And so he was trying to kiss me and everything like that. And I kid you not, guys, I was just like, because what do you mean I was just like this and now I'm like this? So I was like, oh my God, this man is strong as fuck. Strong as fuck. And so flips me over. We start making out. Well, Big Mama got muy caliente after that. And so I started going crazy with him. And so I remember start making out. We get into step 2, 3, and 4. Well, and I don't want this to be a kettle whistles, but I hate, me personally, I hate when men who like other men do not eat butt. I hate it. You're telling me that I worked so hard on this masterpiece. You're telling me that I get this masterpiece ready for about an hour and a half. I shower, I lotion it up with that good lotion. And you don't want to chow down? You don't want to eat the food that I put before you? Get the fuck out of here. That wasn't the case with this man. So, already picked my big fat ass up and threw me on my stomach, or on my back. Picks my big fat ass up again, and puts me in a position to where Big Mama back there is exposed and out to the open. So I'm like, oh, okay, we're about to get into it. I'm waiting for him to wrap it up. I'm waiting for him to lube it up. I'm waiting for him to stick it in. Y'all, he went to town. He was eating that motherfucker. Down. So, oh my gosh, the second I don't want this to turn super nasty. The second I felt lips to lips, I was like, okay, this is going to be a reoccurring client right here. I'm going to need to come back, and I'm going to need to come back, and I'm going to need to come back, and I'm going to need to come back. So he ends up chowing down. He ate dinner, and well, then we get into the good stuff. And so we end up getting into the good stuff. You know, I told you you can't put a Vienna in a foot long and try to make it work, but he made it work somehow, guys. And he honestly probably was some of the best sex that I've ever had. Probably. To date, probably. And when I tell you this man put in works that were just Not known to me. I didn't know that my big fat ass could get bent and split and moved the way that I got moved. Girl, he was moving me around like I was just a rag doll. Moving me around like I was a rag doll. And I was just like, babe. Oh, I know heaven when I see it. I know heaven when I see it. So we end up doing our deed. And I end up leaving, of course, going back home. And he texts me after and he was like, honestly, that was some like the best that I ever had. You're damn fucking right. Oh, you're damn fucking right. But he was like, honestly, that was the best that I've honestly ever had. So I was like, oh, okay, fucking period. Fucking period. And after that, he ends up they always gotta fucking ruin it somehow, guys. So after that, he ends up texting me like, oh, go ahead and like give me your Instagram. Give me your Instagram. So I give him my Instagram, and so we end up following each other. Guys, why did he have photos of a child on his Instagram? And so I was like, God damn it. Of course it was his child. Of course it was his child, because I sat there and asked him about it. I was like, oh, so you're married and you have a kid? And he was like, no, that's not the case. And I was like, thank you, God. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. I know he's out there and I know he's real because he just saved this. So he ends up being like, yeah, like that is my kid, but like I'm not with the woman who I had it with anymore. So I was like, oh, okay, thank God. Because I don't want to turn super messy, because I feel like I got kind of messy a couple episodes back talking about like apartments and homes, but I very selective with the apartments that I break into. You know, I don't break homes. I only go into apartments and move stuff. But I'm still very selective whenever it comes to which apartments I choose to go into. If it's a HUD apartment, I'm not going into it. If it's on the wrong side of town, I'm not touching it. But if it's nicer, if I know there's a good outcome out of it, I might go see if the gates are locked. I might go see if you might have left the deadbolt opened. But so I was going to completely call it off had he been with his baby mama, but he wasn't. So I'm just like, oh, okay, cool. Like he was like, honestly, like me having a kid, if that uninterests you, like I understand, we don't have to talk. And so I was like, oh, okay, like for him to say something like that, in my mind back then, for him to say something like that, I was like, oh, okay, like honestly, he might be telling the truth then, because I feel like either he would have gotten way too defensive if he were lying about it, or he would have just been completely honest and been like, yeah, I'm still fucking the bitch. I'm still with her. Not a bitch. I'm still with my girlfriend. But he wasn't. So he ended up being one of my like reoccurring, like we were in there, baby. We were in there. So every single time that I would go over there, something would low-key always be different, or he would piss me off in some type of way. So first night, I think it was my fault. I was just lost. That's not his fault. I had never really been to the city that he was from, so I was lost as hell. Second night, I want to say he kind of like took a little long, so I had gotten pissed off. Still went. There was a time where he fell asleep on me, guys, as I was driving there. And I straight up left and I blocked him for a couple of days. And then, well, by that time he had my number too. So blocked him on number, forgot to block him on Instagram. So then there he goes, blowing up my Instagram. So I want to say a time out of that, it was same fucking situation, guys. So he tells me like, oh, okay, go ahead, like come over. So I'm driving and I gave him heads up on like when I was going to almost be there. And so he had one time just not answered me. And so I'm like, oh my gosh. And one thing about me, I don't really like driving at night, regardless of whether I have good headlights, bad headlights. I really don't like driving at night, just because you don't get your full surroundings. And so I would always tell him like, if it's gonna get dark, I'm not gonna stay. If it was summertime, yeah, I'll stay. But there was this one time where he took too damn long and it was already dark. So I was like, okay, I'm leaving. I'm not doing this. So I end up getting halfway back to Odessa, and he starts calling me and he was like, hey, like, I'm sorry, like, I was in the shower, da da da. And I was like, a man taking a 50-minute shower is beyond me. What are you doing in there? What are you doing in there? So I was like, okay, well, that's fucking tough. Like, I'm going home. You wasted the hell out of my time. And so he was like, no, come back, come back, come back, doing his begging shit. And I was like, no, that's so stupid. And so I hung up on him. And then he had texted me, mind you guys, he would always pay for my gas. He would always pay for my gas. Anytime that I went over to his house, he paid for my gas. And baby, I was driving that little Honda, and I was charging him like I drove a fucking Hummer, baby. That Honda filled up maybe like $30 of gas, baby. I was charging him 80. Clock that. I got my time paid for. But he had ended up texting me that night, and he was like, I'll give you extra gas money. And I was like, fuck that. Like, bitch, I already get that all the time. I'm gonna get that next week. I don't need your $80 of gas. And he was like, okay, well, what else do you want? And so I was like, let me think. And so I was like, you know what? Buy me a Gucci bag and I'll go over. And so he was like, okay, then fucking come. And I was like, reverse that motherfucker quick. So I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to test this. And I was like, if I turn around, you're buying me a bag. And then he was like, yeah, I kind of know that. Come over already. And so I was like, you're about to buy me a 14, 15, 16, almost $2,200 bag just for me to turn around and you get pootie tang? Like, and he was like, obviously I fucking know that. I know what Gucci is. I'm not stupid. And I was like, oh my God, I busted that you so fucking quick, guys. And so I get to the house, and I'm yelling at him. I'm still kind of pissed. But I was like, let me put up a front that I'm so upset. So he really is like, okay, like, to get whatever one you want. And I end up getting a Birkin. So he literally opens up, and like, he's just staring at me while I'm yelling at him. Opens up his phone and throws it at me. And I look, baby, it was already on the Gucci website. It was already at the Gucci website. He was like, yeah, you can stop all that. Just pick. And so I was like, oh my God, he's being for real. Like, he was actually for real. So I go through, I'm searching. I'm like, which one do I not have yet? Which one do I want? So I'm searching through, find one. And I want to say it had to have been like $2,300, $2,400. And so added it to cart, and then I showed it to him, and I was like, this is the one I want. And so he was like, okay, go get my card. And so I go and get his wallet, go and get his card that's in there. And as he's about to put it in, I don't know what happened to me, guys. What a fucking idiot I was. What an idiot I was. Why did I start feeling bad? So I was like, no, I'm just kidding. So he was like, nah, I'm already fucking putting it in. Like, we're already at this point. Like, let me. So I was like, no, don't buy that. Do not buy that. And so he was like, it was just a back and forth of like, why? Like, you want this? And I was like, no, I don't want it. I was just joking. And so I was really like getting to the point where I was feeling so guilty that I was about to do this, that I was like, if you buy that, I'm leaving right now. Oh my gosh, what a fucking loser I was. So he was like, are you fucking serious? Like, you literally were about to make me buy this bag to get you back here. And then I'm going to buy you the bag and you want to leave. And so I was like, oh my gosh, just shut up and don't buy the fucking bag. Don't buy the fucking bag. So, girl, that made him real mad that night. I got fucked crazy. That night, girl. But after that, I want to say we had maybe went on like a couple of weeks worth of a break. I think it was like, he had told me like he was going to be busy. Oh, he would, during his times that he would compete, he would kind of fall back a little bit. And I respected it because he was kind of transparent about that. Like, he was like, look, whenever I'm doing my cuts, whenever I'm getting ready for competitions, like, I'm not going to be as available as I always am. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. Setting the boundaries early because I'm fucking crazy and I'm going to start getting butthurt that he's not texting me. So I was like, okay, cool. Boundaries are there. So there was a couple of weeks that had went by that we didn't talk, but then those couple of weeks had went by or had turned into like 4 to 6 weeks. And I was like, oh my gosh. Well, I end up texting him like, hey, It's been a while. Like, I haven't, because I would see his photos whenever, after he would compete. And well, I had yet to see any photos of him competing yet. And so I was like, hey, is everything going all right? Like, are you there? And he was like, yeah, sorry. Like, things have just been going on. Like, I had to move. I had to move. But yeah, like, I'm here. Sorry, I haven't texted you. So I was like, oh, okay, it's all good. Like, whatever. And he was like, but there's good news out of that. Like, I moved, but I moved to Odessa. And so I was like, oh, fuck yeah. Like, I don't have to drive an hour away, which, I mean, I got more than enough gas money out of it. But guys, I did not want to drive an hour away twice a week. Twice a week. And so I was like, oh, fuck yeah. He had moved there. So I ended up going over there to see him a couple of times. And he had gotten himself like a little house there. And well, whenever I would go over, I would notice him come out to greet me, which he never really did at the other city. But whenever he would come out to greet me, he would do it in such a way that I started noticing the exact spot that he would go and stand by. And well, whenever he would move out of that spot, I finally realized that there's a Ring camera there. So I was like, what the fuck? Who's living here that he has to cover up the Ring camera whenever I get here? And so we had ended up going to his room, and each time I would look around and it was like I would see more and more stuff there. And by more and more stuff, I mean like there was someone else's stuff there. And by someone else's stuff being there, I mean there was girl stuff there. And what I had started noticing too was that there were photo frames on the dressers. And while I wouldn't pay mind to it, I just kind of thought it was him and his child and things like that. Well, there's one time that I was getting Big Mama 8, and I was in missionary, and I had looked over to the dresser and I noticed that those photos looked very, very familiar, and not in a good way, guys. So, I already told you guys I'm a crazy fucking bitch. So, I had found the Instagram of his baby mama. And while looking through there, I just kind of looked at pictures of her. I looked to see if there were still pictures of him on there. She deleted all the photos of him, so that's how I knew that they were done so. But, so there was 2 photos on there that looked very, very familiar. And it was a photo of them 3, the baby mama, the guy I was fucking on, and their child, in like a family photo shoot. And I was like, okay, like maybe he kept that because the child's in there. And well, I started looking around at more photos, and it was photos of just them 2, couple photos. And I was like, oh, maybe he's just like still hung up on her. Which, why is my big fat ass in your bed if you're still strung up on her? But so I'm just sitting there getting Big Mama 8 looking at this stuff. And so I kind of pushed away from him, and I was like, so what's all this stuff on the dresser? And then he was like, I was hoping you wouldn't ask me about that. And I was like, well, I'm asking, what's this all about? And he was like, well, I'm kind of we're trying to work things out. And so I was like, oh my gosh, bye. Got up, put my clothes on, and left. And you better believe that he was running out before me so he could cover up the Ring camera. But I was like, bye, I'm not doing this. So I end up leaving, and he's texting me right off the bat, like, why'd you leave? Why is it that serious? Come back, da da da. I'm ignoring him. I think I ignored him for a few days, and then I had looked at our messages again, and he was like, yeah, it didn't work out. We already broke up. And so I was like, are you saying that so I'll go over, or did you guys really not work out? Well, from what I know, they just didn't work out, guys. And she already moved out and went back to their hometown. Allegedly. And so I was like, okay, like, I'll go over. We can talk about this, though. Like, before I hunch with you again, I want to talk about this. And so we sit down together and we kind of talk about not what we are per se, but how this is going to work. Because, toxic men. Toxic men, guys. He sat there and was like, I don't want you to be talking to anyone else. I don't want you to be fucking anyone else. This, that, and the third. And I was like, we're not dating. If you want to call shots like that, you can ask me to be your woman. And he was like, well, I can't do that. And I was like, okay, well, then I can't listen to what you're telling me to do. But I was like, if that's going to be the case, I don't want you trying to get back with your baby mama. I don't want you trying to fix your broken home. Get that out of the fucking picture. You obviously were not a good person. But yeah, so he was like, okay, like, well, we'll see. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I'll see if I'm going to stop talking to other people. So after that, we end up fucking on each other a couple more times. And well, in this specific, the second setting that we're in, there was a time that we were getting down and dirty in the room, and well, whenever we were finished, he had walked past me, and guys, before I finish, if there is one thing that I personally do not, and like me, I feel like a lot of girls are the same as me. I feel like as gay men, they're kind of different than me. One thing that I do not want to see from my boyfriend, from my partner, from who I'm in a relationship with, what I don't want to see from them is their bare ass. I do not want to see that. I don't want to see ass. I don't want to see bare ass. I don't want to see butt crack. I do not want to see any of that. I don't know why that like disgusts me so bad, guys. But I eat ass. Who said that? Who said that part? You didn't hear that, guys. But I hate seeing man butt. And what I hate even more than seeing man butt is seeing man butt that is shaped weird. And his was shaped horribly, guys. You know those bodybuilders they'll work out their entire upper body and they'll just get super humongous and big up here, and they just look like huge fucking tanks up here. But then they neglect their calves, they neglect their thighs, they neglect their ass, they neglect their glutes, they neglect their hamstrings, they neglect everything from waist down. Neglect it. And he was one of those people. And literally the second I saw that, I was like, oh, I'm not coming here for a long time. And he was like, why? And I was like, I cannot believe that you just showed me your ass. And he was like, oh, my bad. And I was like, yeah, you're bad. It looks horrible. You need to work out on your legs. And I got my shit and I left. And I remember us joking about it a couple of days later. Like, he was like, yeah, me and my skinny legs. And I was like, yeah, you and your skinny legs and no ass. But had seen his ass that day, guys, and I almost blocked him. I was so petrified and I wanted to cry. But there were a couple of things that had started happening towards the end of our like relationship that I just was not really liking. So he ended up moving from that house, and so whenever he had moved there, we were sitting there hunching still, y'all. But one thing that really started to tick me off about this man was that whenever he wasn't competing, it's almost like he did not care about his upkeep. And so like his hair would be crazy, his beard would be crazy, which the beard felt good back there, but it would look crazy. Then like this would be super hairy, which I mean, I don't mind like hair on a man really, but like when it came to the front, oh my gosh, guys. Oh my gosh. Y'all, I already told you what the size was. Muy pequeño. And when I tell you he would let the hair grow out expeditiously long. And there was one time which I would sit there and, oh my gosh, guys. I would sit there while we were getting down dirty and nasty. I would sit there and push the hair back so I could get to my mission. And y'all, I was getting fed up and tired of that and grossed out, quite frankly. He never stunk, which was very good. But I got fucking tired. I had braces at that time, guys. I had braces at that time, guys, so you can only assume muy peludo and braces, boy, did not go good together. They did not go fucking good together. And so I was like, you're gonna need to do something about this one night. And he was like, what are you talking about? And I was like, this and this is not gonna keep on happening. Go to that restroom now and cut it off. And so, y'all, I sat there for 10, 15 minutes while he sat there and cut it off because I told him I was not dealing with that anymore. And it was gross. But after that, I think we had hooked up several times after that. But just like the last one I had told you guys about, he started getting a little distant with me, and I really have to cut myself off whenever it comes to that, because you get distant, I get attached, we don't go together, so I have to leave. So there were a couple of months that we went without talking to each other. And well, during those couple of months, I was just doing my own little thing, and honestly, I like wasn't thinking about him whatsoever. But there came a time where all my other clients left. All my other clients were gone. So I was like, oh, let me resort back to Old Faithful. Oh, Harry Dick. So I had ended up texting him, and I was just like, hey, like, how are you? No answer. And so I was like, oh, like a couple of days went by, no answer. And so I had texted him again, double texted, guys. God. Double texted, and I was just like, hey, like, are you like not interested anymore? Like, what's going on? And still didn't get a text. So I was like, what the hell is going on? So I had ended up, I want to say, texting him on his number. And whenever I had texted him on his number, he had an iPhone, guys. You know the iPhone bubbles are blue. Well, his number was green. And so I was like, oh my God, bitch, am I fucking blocked? But I was like, oh, okay, I'm already doing too much. I'm looking mad fucking desperate if he sees all of this. So I was like, let me stop embarrassing myself. So I stopped talking to him. And then, well, that ex-friend that I used to have, I was talking to him about it one day. And he had told me like, or I think I was like, there's no answering from anything. Like I even went as far as looking at obituaries to see if he had died. And so he was like, well, did he die? And I was like, no. So that makes even less sense to me. And so he was like, well, have you checked like records, like jail records? And I was like, no, bitch, and I haven't even thought about that. So we get on to FBI's Most Wanted, doing our little searches on this man, 6'4" bodybuilder with a hairy peepee and a frog ass. We had looked him up, and sure enough, guys, he was incarcerated. Guys, he was in prison. And wow, right whenever I had seen it, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to be this was before her, but in present time, I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to be a fucking Ashley Trevino. I'm going to wait for this man to get out. I'm going to put money on his books. I'm going to go visit him. Until I looked at what his charges were. And I'm going to keep it pretty vague. Once again, safety. And honestly, for respect of who it happened to too. But he had assaulted someone, not sexually, physically. He assaulted somebody who was very, 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 very young, and honestly kind of messed them up for the rest of their life. Not physically, but mentally. And then also, guys, after that had happened with that young person, he had assaulted an officer, and I think he tried like running from arrest. So I was like, honestly, the running from arrest and hitting an officer, girl, fuck them cops. Do what you gotta do. But that wasn't what made me like, oh no, I don't want to be with him anymore. It was hurting a child. And so after hearing that, I was like, oh, I will never talk to this man again. I will never interact with this man again. If he were to ever talk to me, like it would fall on deaf ears, because he's not getting through to me. But he's not getting out for a very long time anyway, so hopefully I'm in Hollywood by that point. But yeah, guys, that was my that was my story time with my bodybuilder. Honestly, guys, just like I said, some of the best fucking dick that I've ever had. Ever fucking had. And girl, some of the best money I've ever seen out of a fucking trick, too. But not a prostitute though, guys. He was just my trick. But with that all being said, guys, let's go ahead and get into our final segment. Let's go ahead and wind down, get cozy, so we can go ahead and finish this episode out. Let's talk about what my kettle whistles for. We have a few today, guys. My kettle whistles when... Picture this, guys. Keep your eyes closed. You should have kept your eyes closed from Grab Your Mugs. Keep your eyes closed, open your mind up. Reenacting. So, you're sitting there. You're swiping through your For You page on TikTok. You're swiping. Honestly, you just opened up your TikTok. What do you see first? Ad. Ad. First thing that you see, ad. So you have to swipe away from that. You see a funny video, you like it, send it to your homegirls, repost it. Next thing you see, TikTok shop ad. Oh my God, don't you need this wireless charger for your car? Oh my God, this is the best thing in the world. Everybody needs this for their car. It's wireless Apple CarPlay. Oh my God, it's a car freshie. Oh my God, it's a phone mount. All of that. That one TikTok ad that you just seen. So you're like, oh my God, I don't fucking want it. Swipe. TikTok live of just people sitting there battling, which no hate to people that just sit there and battle. Me and my homegirl can't do that. We have tried going live so many times with different individuals and all they want to do is battle and take people's money and not provide any type of comedic relief, no type of service, no type of education. That's not what I'm getting on live for. I want you to make me laugh and fart. That's it. And so that's what you get. You swipe away again. You get a funny video. You get a sad video. You get some kind of TikTok dance. Like it, repost it, share it with your friends. Next one, get another video. Like it, share it, repost it. Get to your next one. A fucking TikTok shop ad. Guys, I am so tired of every other, if not every third video that I swipe through on TikTok being a, oh my God, you need to buy this because it's the best thing in the world. Oh my gosh, you need to buy this because it's going to make you skinny. Oh my gosh, you need to buy this because it's going to clear up your skin. I'm going to buy whatever the fuck I want to buy. How about that? And stop pressuring me into buying things. Stop it. Oh my gosh. And the lives, just boring. Just boring. I hate them. They give me no interest in wanting to keep watching them. No interest at all. Like, as much as we fucking hate her, Ashley Trevino at least gives us something to make fun of her about. Ashley Trevino gives us comedic relief because she's a fucking idiot. But all these other people just like, tap the screen, guys. Give me a money gun. Give me a money gun, guys. Triples, triples, trickles. Toca la pantalla. Toca la pantalla. It's so annoying, guys. Give me some personality. Show me why I should keep watching you and why I should spend my money on you. Oh my gosh. But yeah, that's the first thing that gets my kettle whistling. Next thing I want to talk about, guys. And it was worse in the Honda because the Honda had tint, but the Honda did not have tint like Miss Stassi Baby has it. So, my kettle whistles when you picture this. Close your eyes, open your mind. There is a 2008 Ford F-150 rolling up behind you. And baby, you see them from 15 miles away. You want to know why? Because they have those aftermarket blue LED headlights on them. So fucking annoying. So fucking annoying. And well, you see them from 15 miles away because they're illegally bright. They're too damn bright to be on the street. Who gives a fuck? But they inch and inch and inch and inch closer and closer to you until they're right on your ass and there is just nothing but blue on your rear view mirror. Thank God the Honda had automatic dimming mirrors, so that helped a little bit, but you still couldn't see behind you with the mirror. And then girl, the Honda had 5% tint in the back. It looked like I was fishbowling whenever them motherfuckers came around. And I really haven't had to really witness it too much with my new car, and plus she's illegal. She's illegal. It's 5% all around and a 0 eyebrow, so I don't think I'm gonna have to see shit. But one thing that's good about her too is she has a camera instead of a rear view mirror, so I think it kind of dims for you. But guys, If your car did not come with LED headlights, there's not a reason to put them on unless they are coming from the dealership or the manufacturer themselves. Stop buying headlights on Amazon. Stop buying headlights on Temu. Stop buying them on Shein. Buy them from the fucking dealership because the ones you buy are horrible. Why are they teal blue, neon, and you can see shit from the city over? You don't need to see that far, and your car doesn't need to shine that bright either. Oh my gosh, guys. If you have them, take them off. Next thing I want to talk about. So, like I told you guys in the beginning of the episode, me and my homegirls are going to be going to Dallas this weekend. And, well, one thing that I needed to look at with having the car that I have now, I drive an electric car. One thing I needed to look at and plan ahead of time was the way that I'm going to get there and where I'm going to be charging my car at. Well, this is something that you need to keep in mind whenever you're driving like an electric car, and especially in the area that we live in too, because there's really not that many, for my car at least. So there is one in my city that I'll go and charge at whenever I need to get up there quick. And guys, that one is so damn expensive. My car gets about 300 and something miles of range. Well, I can be at 180 miles, which is like, in my car, it's like 60% or something like that. Well, whenever I want to charge my car to about 80, 85%, which whenever you charge an electric car past 80, it's a lot slower. So that is something that I do keep into consideration. But whenever I am sitting there charging my car from 60% to 85%, which is 25%, and you're telling me that I'm sitting there for about 45 minutes to an hour, absolutely not. That's so fucking ridiculous. And not only that, I charge 25%. Guys, why is it $40? Why the fuck is it $40 to charge there? Am I getting charged per minute of charge? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So, one thing that I needed to do was see where there were chargers on the way to Dallas. And another thing that I needed to see was, since I don't drive a Tesla, I needed to see if I was going to be able to utilize Tesla chargers. And if you drive a Tesla, you won't know about this, but certain Tesla chargers are specified for only Teslas, while other chargers, any and every other car, like my Cadillac, the Rivians, anything that you can think of, the Porsche Taycans, any other electric car can use, but there are certain that are only designated for Tesla drivers. So I had to see if there were any expensive ass chargers like the ones that I use, or any Tesla chargers that I would be able to use on the way there. So I had a little adapter that I had bought in order to use the Tesla chargers a couple of months ago. And I just had yet to try it or make time to try it also. Well, there's a Tesla charger a couple of cities over that I was going to be able to charge at. And I was like, oh, okay, let me see if there's a different charger there too, just in case this adapter doesn't work. I can go and at least charge and waste my time, you know? So went to the Tesla charger. It fucking worked, guys. It fucking worked. So I'm going to be able to take that bitch to Dallas and not have to sweat it. But one thing that I noticed while being at that Tesla charger is how fast and how cheap their chargers are compared to the other ones, which I used an electric car talk. Sorry guys, if you don't know about it, skip maybe like a minute and a half. But on the way back from whenever I bought my car in Austin, I had utilized the Electrify America pump. I guess you can call it that, the pump. It's pretty much just like the Stripes, the Texaco, the Kent Quick, the things like that, you know? So I had used an Electrify America. Horrible, fucking horrible, and wasted so much of my money. Let me say that. So much of my money. Fucking horrible. Well, the one that's in the city that I live in it's a GM Energy one. So it's by the maker of my fucking Cadillac, but fucking horrible, and don't give a bitch a discount for having a Caddy. But those two compared to the Tesla charger, so much more expensive and so much longer it takes to charge it. Me and Good Judy had went to test out our hypotheses and or our theory, and we were there. We had plugged my phone in at about maybe like, I don't remember what the percentage was, but it was at 99 miles of range. We had 99 miles left to the tank. And we were like, let's go ahead and let's go ahead and see if it works. See if it works. Let's go ahead and just charge it to 80, 85. So we're there, we're charging it. We end up getting to 80, 85 in about like 30, 35 minutes. So quick, guys. So quick. And so we're like, oh my God, 30, 35 minutes. And I think I looked at the price. I think I was only paying like maybe $20. I think it had only went to $20 at that point. So I was like, girl, fuck this. Let's see how long it'll take just to test it. Let's see how long it'll take to charge to 100 and how much it's going to cost. So in total, we stayed there maybe a little less than an hour and a half. I think it was like an hour, 20 something minutes. We stayed there for about an hour and a half. And guys, you want to know what our grand total was? For us, which I mean, take into consideration, you wait this long to charge your car, but yeah, I only paid about $33. $33. I paid more to fill that fucking Honda up with gas than it took for me to charge my car. And well, I mean, yes, it took long, but baby, it costs less. It costs way less. So whenever we're doing the road trip, me and my homegirls all take turns paying for the gas. So whenever it comes to the road trip, girl, our gas expense is going to be cheap as hell coming up. Sign us up for that. But yeah, my kettle whistles at the fact that Tesla, which I mean, Tesla has been around for a lot longer than a lot of these other electric companies have been. But Tesla has done their due diligence with making sure that their chargers are the fastest possible. And I mean, they have the greatest network, so they charge cheap because they have them everywhere, guys. They're going to get their money one way or another. But yeah, my kettle whistles win that, guys. Last thing that I want to talk about, guys, and it's so generic, but there's going to be a story time along with it. So my kettle whistles when men lie. They all fucking do it. Your man's not fucking perfect. Your man lies to you too. You just haven't caught him yet. I hate whenever men lie. Story time to come along with this. Buckle up, y'all. So we already made that new pot. Go ahead and add that tea. Grab your mug back. So I have been talking to this one guy for, I want to say maybe like the duration of this year, maybe a little bit less. I remember the first time us meeting, it was very cold outside. So I want to say we might be at almost a year's mark, 10, 11 months. But we had talked prior. We did our deeds, whatever. And this guy, whenever we started talking, he asked me what I was looking for. Well, at that time, I really wasn't looking for hookup culture or anything like that. So I had told him like, oh, well, I'm looking for somebody that like I can be a friend with. Maybe we can hook up. Maybe. Don't let that be, how do you say, like the main thing that you focus on whenever it comes to me. And he was like, okay, I'm super down with that. Whatever. So boom, I end up going over to his place. We end up talking for a while. Well, one thing leads to another, and I sucked dick on accident, y'all. I tripped on it. And so we end up talking, whatever. Well, I think we go like a little bit of time before we meet up again. I honestly, after that, I got turned off and I didn't want to talk to him anymore. So we stopped talking for a little bit, and then he ends up coming back around, telling me that he got a new place, whatever. I go over. That. We know how all this stuff goes. What I want to get into is maybe a month ago, I had noticed him. Oh no, even prior to that, guys, I had went over to his house and I was just noticing, guys, I'm very observant. I'm a very observant person. So we're sitting there talking, and I'm looking at him, and then out of nowhere, I see like a twinkle above my eye. So I look up. There's a Stanley Cup there. And it is not a Stanley Cup that you would expect a man to have. A man. It had like bows on it. It was pink, XYZ. I was like, bitch, that ain't my man's. So I was like, whose fucking cup is that? And he was like, oh, it's my sister's. She left it here whenever she came by. Because he's from another part of Texas. He was like, oh, my sister, she left it here, da-da-da-da, XYZ. So I was like, right, I'm fucking stupid, right? So I was like, okay, cool, sure it is, whatever. So I end up going to the restroom. I see Tampax. I know he's not using that. He has a roommate, but it's a boy. I know he ain't using that. I'm not using that. Whose is it? And so I see that. I think I had seen like some girl soap. This and the third, guys. So I go back and I was like, damn, your sister really is just forgetting everything too. She forgot a box of tampons. Bitch, those aren't cheap. I know his sister did not fucking forget those. So he was like, yeah, she just be leaving her shit, da-da-da. So I was like, right. I have an inkling, but I don't have enough evidence to act on it yet. So whatever goes by, I stopped talking to him because a couple of weeks after that, he had posted on his story a little, how do you say it? They had set up all of the cups that an individual owned, and he had posted a snap, and it was like, dang, and this isn't even all of hers. And so I was like, who the fuck is he talking about? Who is he talking about? Because I don't think mind you, I saw that fucking cup that I saw in his apartment. So I was like, I don't think that he's posting his sister's cups. I really don't. So yeah, I see that and I'm like, oh, okay, fucking cool. Prior to that, maybe like a week before, he had gotten a little spooky basket. Baby, he works in the oil field. I know his foremen are not getting him a fucking spooky basket for Halloween. So I was like, okay, he has a bitch. I just don't have 100% of the proof yet. So I end up unadding him because I'm like, guys, I'm not doing that. I told you, I'm picky whenever it comes to me breaking apartments. Not that I didn't want to break that apartment. I felt like my trust was betrayed. So I end up unadding him. And he ends up adding me back. And I had just straight up texted him like right away. And I was like, look, you have a fucking girlfriend. I don't need you talking to me. Like, respect your fucking girlfriend. Boom, got blocked. I was not mad about it, guys. I was not mad about it. So, fast forward to a few days ago. Guess who gets a DM on Instagram? The sexy blonde woman in front of you. I get a DM and it's from this MF. And he's like, hey. Instantly opened it and then swiped out of it. And then he was like, how have you been? Didn't answer him. Well, you know that Instagram does not let people be slick. So I start getting the notifications of user unsent message. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, how fucking desperate is he? So I go into the chat and I'm like, look, I already told you in our last messages, do not fucking text me. You have a girlfriend. Be respectful. And so he was like, we're not together. And I was like, right, you're not together. Right, you're not together. And so I was like, So we start just texting back and forth. I'm being so short with him. And I eventually tell him like, look, I'm not fucking interested in you. And well, one thing I didn't tell you guys was from him wasting my time before, I had sent my Cash App in our message. And I was like, if you want to talk to me, you can pay to talk to me. And so I was like, well, let me remind you of something that was in our previous messages. And so I sent it and I was like, if you want to talk to me, you can go ahead and send money. Thank you. And so he was like, well, if I send money, you're going to come over. And I was like, I'm not doing anything with you. I'm not touching you. You're not touching me. And so he was like, that's fine. And I was like, we're not doing absolutely anything. So he was like, not even kiss. And I was like, I'll think about that. But if you pressure me, I'm going to leave. And so he ends up taking forever. And so I'm like, I'm not going to get my time wasted. I go on about my night. I start getting ready. And so while I'm taking a shower, guys, I get the Cash App notification. Y'all, he sent me money. And so I was like, God damn it, I'm going to have to go over now. So then as soon as he sends me the money, boom, text me, come over. Bitch, I'm rub-a-dub-dubbing. You can fucking wait. And so I ignore it. Then he calls me. I fucking ignore it. He calls me again and I decline it. And so I'm like, oh my gosh. So I get out of the shower once I'm done. And I was like, I was in the shower. You can fucking wait. Like, don't be rude. And so he was like, he didn't answer. And so I start doing my skincare routine. Y'all, I'm a very tedious bitch whenever it comes to my skincare routine. I take forever. To get ready and get unready. So my skincare routine plus lotion up this big old body and brushing my teeth, it probably takes about 30, 35, 40 minutes. I take a while. And so I give him all of that time to answer me because I wasn't just going to go over like a dumbass. So I end up getting ready. He doesn't text me. So I'm like, you know what? Fuck this. I end up sending his money back. I honestly should have kept it. What a fucking idiot. But I end up sending him his money back just because I didn't want somehow it to be held over me. But whenever I go to send him his money back, what I notice is something I didn't think of before. So I told you guys in an episode before, I'm a detective. I'll find whatever the fuck you need me to find. I'll find it. Well, when I was looking for this individual on other social medias like Facebook and stuff, I was searching it up in the basic stereotypical name that you would assume somebody would write their name. And well, from the Cash App, I noticed that he spelled the end of his name different. So I was like, yep, that's all I needed to know. So there I go. Put my badge on, put my FBI hat on, put my glasses on, and I was in. So there I go, going to Facebook. Lo and behold, find his fucking Facebook. And what do you guys think I found there, guys? You remember what this one was, guys, right? It was My Kettle Whistles When Men Fucking Lie. And I think another thing that makes my kettle whistle is that men are so fucking stupid. Because the first thing that I see whenever I find this man's Instagram, or his Facebook, is him with his chick. No disrespect to the girl. I feel sorry for the girl, actually, because I don't know how long they had been talking while I was up there and he was in them guts. But, small ass dick, by the way. No fucking guts. He wasn't getting in no fucking guts. But I, lo and behold, found two other pictures with them, and I was just like, oh my gosh, guys. And another thing to know about me, I'm an FBI agent. I can find whatever the fuck I need to find. But sign me up to be in the FBI. But another thing you need to sign me up for is the loony bin, because I'm fucking crazy. So went ahead and screenshotted the photos that I had found, screenshotted the poor girl's Facebook account. And while I wanted to text her like hey girl, I know you don't know me, but I wasn't going to do that because there is a difference in a girl doing it to a girl, and there's a greater difference in a boy doing it to a girl. So I was like, not that I want to protect this man, but I don't know how in danger I would be, nor would I know how in danger other people would be if he were to be confronted on it. So think smarter, not stupider. And so I screenshot that stuff, and what I'm honestly waiting for, guys, is him to text me, because I'm just going to send him those screenshots, and I'm going to be like, look, you thought that you were the best fucking liar there is on earth, sign you up for Ripley's Believe It or Not. You thought that you were the best liar on earth, or you thought I was a fucking idiot. And I'm just going to send him those screenshots and be like, you ever text me again, there's going to be a message in somebody's DM talking about their boy is gay. And told you, sign me up for the loony bin. Found his mom's Facebook. And just to let you know, she might be getting a DM too if he ever fucks with me again. But with all that being said, guys, let's go ahead and wrap this up before I get myself in more trouble. This has been our 5th episode of Don't Cry Over Spilled Tea. I hope you enjoyed all of the topics that we talked about today. I hope you enjoyed the story time of today. Next story time is going to be a little bit different. We're going to be out of all this drag too. We're going to be real comfortable. But send in your stuff if you have anything you want me to talk about. I know I didn't say that for last episode, but send me things if you want to talk about things. All socials are I am Dylan Sotelo. Just like our title says, guys, don't cry over spilled tea. Bye, guys.